Welcome to SaaS Talks from Lead to Close, where I'll be sharing with you everything that I've learned to close leads. I went from quitting my first sales job because I was too scared to talk to strangers to becoming a VP of sales for multiple tech startups where I built a sales team from scratch and led them to an acquisition. I'll teach you how to schedule more demos on your calendars, close at least 50% of your demos, and build a pipeline large enough so you're always hitting quota. If you're looking to scale, then turn the volume up. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to SaaS Talks from Lead to Close. I'm your host, Mor Assouline. So I'm going to talk about something really relevant that's happening across the board in sales right now, and that's LinkedIn. You'll see a lot of advice online right now that's telling you to start updating your follow-up cadences using LinkedIn. So DMs on LinkedIn, requesting people on LinkedIn. If you are using LinkedIn to cold DM somebody, it's really important that you do it properly, because LinkedIn right now, it's not saturated. Like, it's saturated with salespeople, but the opportunity to actually get engagement on LinkedIn DMs is really, really high because many people are not using it. You'd be surprised. There's very few people on LinkedIn using it properly. I think there's like less than 1%, or maybe it's 1% of all LinkedIn users, which is in the millions, are actually posting content on LinkedIn and are active on LinkedIn. So there's a ton of other salespeople that don't even know how powerful LinkedIn is. And for the ones that do know and are using it properly, you'll start seeing a lot of results. So this happened to me the other day, and I constantly, at least 3 times a day, I get a cold friend request on LinkedIn with a note. And then sometimes I don't have a note, but for the ones that I don't have a note, I accept it sometimes. But long story short, I get a cold request on LinkedIn. I accept the request. So now we're technically officially friends on LinkedIn. And the DM that they send me, the first DM is, "Hey, how are you?" Or "How's your day going?" And the moment I see that, I immediately archive. Because number one, LinkedIn DM, their whole UI and the whole user interface of LinkedIn's DMs is really, really, really bad. It's hard to manage. So it's not like Google or HubSpot or anything like that. So when someone is DMing me saying, "How are you?" and I don't even know the person and there's no context, then I don't know what they're trying to get at. I'm not looking to really chat small talk. I'm busy. And that's true across the board with all of your prospects. So the one thing I'd recommend is when you're requesting somebody on LinkedIn and they accept you, do not think that you can just say, "How are you?" and then they'll get a conversation out of them. Because even if they respond good and they respond to you, eventually you're probably going to ask them for some a time on the calendar. It's annoying. It's like it's not even a bait and switch. It's just it's annoying. It's a waste of time. Asking somebody how they're doing is pretty much beating around the bush and wasting their time. So instead of saying, "How are you?" it's better when somebody accepts you on LinkedIn, it's better just to go in and ask them what you want to ask directly. Granted, there is a way to do it, which we'll cover in future episodes. But if you're not ready to ask them for time on the calendar, whatever it is that you're trying to get at as far as bringing in that lead into your pipeline, then what I would recommend is don't ask them for the calendar, but do ask them to, don't even ask them anything actually, just engage in their content, assuming that they post regularly on LinkedIn. So that'd be my first step. So kind of to sum it up, if you're going to connect with somebody on LinkedIn, do not just message them, "How are you?" Instead, just ask them what you want to ask specifically, get to the point, don't beat around the bush. But if you're not yet ready to ask what you want to ask, instead, just engage authentically in their LinkedIn post on a daily basis. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you found this relevant or practical at all, then please share this episode. Until next time, I'm your host, Mor Assouline.